and I'm very happy to take you all through this. And more than anything, I'm very happy to see all of you on a Sunday morning. Thank you so much. I leave it to the speakers.
Swarna garu,
yes,
you want to share? You can share if you want to share the screen.
Hi. Screen. Okay. Screen on Jay. Hello.
There
A
is
role
no
model.
voice.
Hello.
I can't hear anything.
Yeah. Is picture on Jay. Start.
Himlesh is elder son of Swarna garu is helping her in sharing the screen. So
yeah, a role model is a person who is looked up by others as an example. Their way of leading life and success is emulated by others, which is worthy of admiration. A role model is revered by others, striving to be like them in the present or in the future. My role model is Mrs. Kamal Chugh. I've known her from my childhood. We call her Chugh Auntie. The best thing I like about Auntie is the smile which she has all the time. She always dealt with things with a positive attitude and a kind heart. She has many leadership qualities which I feel like imbibing in me. Mrs. Chugh took the initiative to start Bhadrachalam Mahila Samiti, which is also known as Ladies Club. The main initiative of BMS has always been to help the needy. BMS donates vessels, clothes, books, and other essentials to the surrounding villages of Bhadrachalam. BMS has ever since been an integral part of ITC Bhadrachalam, which has not stopped serving the needy even today. A new building has been constructed for BMS of lately and has been named Kamal Kunj. My mother, Mrs. Saraswati, and Chugh Auntie are good friends. My mother, who was highly motivated by her friend's interest towards serving the society and had also started involving in a lot of social activities. She also served as the Vice President of BMS under the able guidance of Mrs. Chugh, who was always humble and poised. Even I had the opportunity of carrying the legacy of Kamal Chugh ji by serving as the Joint Secretary of BMS along with N. Sailaja, Mrs. NBS, who was then the secretary. It was a great learning for me during this tenure. Whenever I meet a person, I try to learn something from them because each person is unique in their own way. When I moved to Shadnagar, I came across my house owner's mother, who was 70 years old, but was full of energy. She was a great support to her 5 granddaughters and 1 grandson. She was mentally very strong. She was a huge inspiration for me. As a kid, I always admired Mrs. Raji Nair for her beauty. I always thought I should also be as charming as her. I'm also motivated by my mother and my mother-in-law. My mother is very active even today, and my mother-in-law is very dignified lady. Professionally, I'm inspired by Mrs. Sujata Prakash. She's always encouraging and full of creative novel ideas. She has never hesitated to take up new challenges and responsibilities. She's very dedicated to her duty. I also learned to be supportive like Sharvari ji, to be helpful like Asha ji, soft spoken like Rama Tulsi ji, talented in sports like Neeraja Krishnamohan, inspiring and caring like Sailaja NBS, determined like Kanchan Rao Auntie, dynamic like Dr. Usharani of Plantation Department, to have patience like Malti ma'am, and to do hard work like my colleague Deekshita, who is a teacher and a student as well. I would like to end by stating that if we have the willingness to learn and grow, there is no better opportunity than learning from people we come across in daily life. I would like to show you some photos. Angel. Angel. I would like to.
Hi everyone, this is my Peter speech presented at Gavel's Club, Doha. Today I stand before you to speak a few words about my role model. Each and everyone here might have at least answered this question once. Who is your role model in life? Whom do you admire the most? The answer varies from person to person as well as from time to time. We may sometimes say Obama, Einstein, Shah Rukh Khan, Amir Khan, my mom, my dad, my teacher, my grandparents, or even animated characters like Harry Potter, Spider-Man, and Batman. So on and so forth. Actually, who is a role model? A role model is a person who influences your life in a positive way. We look to them through their commitment to excellence and through their ability to make us realize our own personal growth. We look to them for advice and guidance. When I'm asked this question now, it portrays various personalities in front of my eyes. Among them, I've always kept my parents on top of the list as they are the true people who knows me very well from the day I came to this world. They are the ones whom I can approach with my concerns and problems. In their company, I feel relaxed. Whenever I'm in a difficult situation, they always console me and encourage me to do more. I have never seen them frustrated or gloomy because they have always kept a silver ray of hope for me in whatever I do. Secondly, I admire my teacher. A teacher is a second parent in our lives. Whenever we commit a mistake, a good teacher will not hesitate and also tell the answer to it. In 6 to 8 hours of a day, 5 days in a week, a teacher becomes one of the most influential person in a student's life. From elementary to middle school, from middle school to high school, a teacher becomes one of the most influential person in a student's life. A teacher with a main objective of teaching also molds the heart and mind of a student. Learn from yesterday, live for today, and hope for tomorrow. Thirdly, I admire my grandparents. They are the living source of warmth and love. They have taught me kindness, generosity, faithfulness, loyalty, and other good qualities of human being. Being an Indian, I've always admired dear Bapuji for his tolerance. I respect his principle. Hate the sin, not the sinner. And forgiveness is the ornament of the brave. Gandhiji has always urged for peace and non-violence. In short, I would like to admire each and every person who has passed through my life. I would like to wind up with these lines. Always do the best in whatever you do. Set goals and seek challenges. Become the role models of the ones coming behind you and always have God in your heart. Thank you and have a nice day.
I studied fine arts for years before I picked up my first can. The studio never made me feel alive.
Yeah. Thank you, Swarna garu.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you. You wish to share something else? Or I? No, you have something else to show in the video?
No.
Okay. Over to Christina garu.
Thank you, Swarna. That was such an inspiring message. It was so nice because you didn't talk about anybody who we don't know, you know, and you put it out so well that even I believe that I always say that I can learn from my maid also something, you know. She's also my role model when it comes to time management.
Yeah.
She just comes and in a matter of 1 hour she's done and off.
Yeah.
So these are the things, and
they have so many difficulties at home, leaving their children, and of course financial problems are there for them, and still even in the rain or if it is sunny also they have some skin problem or anything also, they come, they attend and do all the household works and go. And even a small boy like a newspaper boy also, he comes in the rain and he comes in the sun, when it is very hot also, and he gives the paper. And just see the hard work they do. And we have so many comforts, but still sometimes we feel lazy, and I feel we get motivated even from them to a little extent.
Yes, it was very inspiring, Swarna. And thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. It was so nice to listen about Mrs. Chug once again after a long time.
Yeah, and to this day, I feel she's the greatest inspirer and
role model.
Role model for me.
For everybody, for all ladies, she just makes things happen. That's
I have seen her from a very small age. I mean, from my childhood, I've seen her. No, so. Even if because I have stayed in Bhadrachalam for 35 years. So, I mean, I was there till I finished my graduation. Then I got married to Ramesh and it just continued like that. So, more attached to Bhadrachalam and Lord Rama.
Yes,
and surroundings.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Swarna. Do we have any questions, please?
No, we will take the questions after completing.
Okay, fine. Yes. Lauren, the platform is yours, Lauren. We look forward to listening to you.
Himilesh, I will share from my side. In case any issue, I will keep you as a backup for video presenting. Okay?
Okay, sure. No problem.
I request all participants to keep your video also off, except Madam Lauren, because these videos take a lot of bandwidth. It may not come such streamless. Streaming will be difficult. I request all other participants to keep video also off. Madam Lauren? Madam Lauren? I have to, yeah. Lauren Garu, you have to unmute yourself.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
now
But I
it's
can see
looking.
myself on the screen. Am I on
Yeah,
the
now
screen?
we are able to see you.
Yeah.
Shall I share the screen now, or you want me to share later?
Whatever.
But your voice is not clear, madam. Yesterday we could have done the trial. Your voice is. You please come forward bit.
Okay, I'll speak louder. It's okay.
Yeah, please.
All right.
Yeah.
Hello and a very good morning to all my buddies in the Silvers family. Really, it feels so good to be connected, and it just goes to show that distance doesn't divide us anymore. Thank God for the internet. Well, for those who are not familiar with me, as Christina told you a little bit, I would like to elaborate on that. I have 2 children and 5 grandchildren. My daughter works for Amazon, and my son is a SAP consultant in Kuwait. I wish my husband was here, but he's not, because God called him home. I worked for our great company for almost, 30 years, 28, 30 years, most of which was in the marketing department. And then the last leg of my service was from the HR department. Well, during my service, I was indirectly under the direction of our CEOs, whom I shouldn't forget. I'd like to make a mention of all the officers that influenced me as I watched them from afar. Mr. K.L. Chuk, Mr. Kuti, Mr. Maliwal, Mr. Pradeep Doble, and of course, last but not least, Mr. Sanjay Singh. I worked for Mr. M.M. Shukla, Rajesh Shupuri, Rakesh Chopra, George Thomas, Mr. K.I. Vishwanathan, Mr. Chitran Chandar, and lastly, Mr. K.J. Swarup in HR department. Each of them had an influence on me because I worked so closely with them, and I learned a lot. Every one of us is a role model for each other. We are always looking at each other and trying to imbibe the qualities that appeal to us most. I was inspired by others, and I know that others were inspired by me, even though I'm a small fry, but I know I must have made a difference along the way. And that's the confidence I have today. Usually we start at the very beginning, but I prefer to start from the ending. Before I retired, Vishy asked me what I was about to do. And that set me thinking. I was wondering what I was going to do after retirement. How would I spend my time? What else can I do that mattered, really? Having been in the corporate world, I wanted a change and wanted to do something different to make a difference. But before I delve into my presentation of the role models in my life, I owe it to God for giving me an amazing couple who were the first role models of my life, my beloved parents, who enabled me to stand on my own. And I'm sure all of you will echo the same sentiment. So let's give our parents a big hand of applause. There were so many people, but of them all, as I pondered over what I wanted to do for the future, I kept looking at the great personalities. Great for what they did, and some were not the great ones for what they did too. Role models are people that we look up to, are people that we imitate, are people that we'd like to be like. But there are also reverse role models. People who can influence us wrongly, who have made a name for themselves in a wrong way. And that teaches us a lesson of not imbibing those kind of qualities from the reverse roles. But let's delve into the positive ones. I was wondering how I was and how I came to be. And today I know that it's only because of God's guidance. I'm not coming here to preach, so don't get alarmed. I just read that the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. And my spiritual role model was Mother Teresa, because I wondered what could be such a driving force in her life and how she had the heart to do so much. Obviously, it's God's guiding force in her, the presence of God who is in her, who enables her to do what she did. And that's what I took from her. I was inspired by her words. Peace and war begin at home. If we want peace in the world, let us begin by loving one another in our own families. If we want to spread joy, we need for every family to have joy. So we should spread joy. That really touched me. I said, yeah, it all begins at home. Charity begins at home. The lessons we learn begins at home. Our parents are the first teachers. So it all begins at home. And we as parents, in turn, have to be role models to our children. So I would like, every one of you know about Mother Teresa and what she did. So just let's go through a small clip. It won't take up much time, but just let's look at her life. Surya, will you please put on Mother Teresa's video?
Can all see this?
Yes.
Yes, Swarna.
I can't hear it. Volume, please. Volume, please.
Volume is full, madam.
I
Can
can't
all
hear
others listen this, or its volume is less for you as well?
No, we can't hear.
Oh, okay. I understand the problem.
Please start it again.
No, I understand the issue. I have to make it. Sorry,
Sir, you need to optimize, I think, then the sound will be clear, audio will be clear.
no, I need to take one. Now it will be okay.
Yeah, it's fine now.
Mother Teresa, to me, an icon of compassionate care for the poor and the disadvantaged.
Mother Teresa was baptized Agnes Gonja Boyajiu in Skopje, Macedonia around August 26, 1910. Born of Albanian descent, she joined the Loreto Sisters of Dublin, Ireland at the age of 18 and took the name Sister Mary Teresa.
One of the reasons some religious members take on new names, they have a favorite saint, or they have someone who embodies for them a vision. Like Pope Francis, it's Francis of Assisi.
In 1931, Mother Teresa traveled to Calcutta, India to teach at an all-girls high school. But on September 10, 1946, a second calling from Christ led Mother Teresa to leave her convent and devote herself to working with the poorest of the poor. With Vatican permission, in 1950, Mother Teresa created the Missionaries of Charity.
Mother Teresa is one of the great humanitarians of the 20th century because of her ability to love those who were the most vulnerable in society. The work she did in India really challenged entrenched notions of caste and gender roles, and she worked very closely with lepers and other people who were disenfranchised, marginalized, dispossessed.
During the 60s, Mother Teresa opened hospices, orphanages, and leper houses all over India, and later expanded internationally. In 1982, during the siege of Beirut, Mother Teresa traveled through a war zone to evacuate 37 children, and later assisted radiation victims at Chernobyl and earthquake victims in Armenia.
Mother Teresa cares about people. She recognizes their spiritual dignity. She takes care of not just their spiritual needs, but their bodily needs as well. And she gathers other people to help her do that. That, in my mind, is a good humanitarian.
In 1979, Mother Teresa was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize and donated the $192,000 prize fund to the poor in India. 6 years later, President Ronald Reagan awarded her with a Presidential Medal of Freedom. By 1986, Mother Teresa operated 517 missions in more than 100 countries.
A very charismatic nun, this little old nun with the wrinkled face and that very simple white sari, caring for the dying on the street, people that have so little hope. That's one of the reasons that she was given the Nobel Prize.
After years of suffering from heart, lung, and kidney problems, Mother Teresa died on September 5, 1997. 2 years later, Pope John Paul II opened a formal process toward beatification
You
to
can
make
stop,
Mother Teresa
Surya.
an
Please
official
stop.
Catholic saint.
Please stop. Thank you. So we see what a selfless life she led, and that inspired me. And I wondered in what way I could make a difference in my own little way. Actually, I was not one who would like to tend to the sick or to go to funerals. There was a time when I didn't like doing that. But my father, while he was on, I'm giving live experience so that I relate to what it was inspired. When my father was very sick and was bedridden, and Christina came over to my house, thank you, Chris, for advertising and sharing a few tears with me. My father's toe, it was deteriorating, and I didn't know because he was always covered with a blanket, and every time I tried to make the bed, he would cry. So I just examined, and I found his toe. There was a big hole behind the nail of his toe, and I just couldn't bear it. And I thought that I must do something for my father, and I started cleaning out the wound. And that's when I got out of my phobia of not wanting to nurse the sick. So that, because of Mother Teresa's heart for the sick and the poor, that inspired me to do my little bit.
Madam Lauren, sorry to disturb in between. We all need to log in back to continue the session. Request all to log in back once it disconnected.
Okay.
It disconnects in less than half a minute.
Okay.
We will continue, madam, after half a minute. Please bear with us.
Okay.
Please log in back.
Yes.